and therefore we would not like anyone to miss out. I hope most of them have logged in, and as this today's topic suggests, it is a very crucial one in terms of the students' uh, CBSE exam for class 10 and class 12. I trust you all are aware that this national education policy had given an indication of how students should be involved in research-based, project-based studies. Maybe in that line, the CBSE has introduced that case study based questions, which is quite new for the students. Over the years, they have been familiar with the CBSE question paper pattern, which existed for so many years, and especially at a time when our present 10th class and 12th class did not have normal classes, did not have normal interactions. They face this challenge of going through these online classes at this point of time, something which is new, something which these case-based studies, studies are quite above their level in terms of the intervention that they have taken now. They should have had enough time for this practice. So it's a great challenge. And I think all the teachers might have faced this issue in their respective schools, especially when they had conducted some preparatory exam, because still half yearly exam, the old pattern was there. When we started the preparatory exam, this new model question paper were rolled out, and all of a sudden the children were not able to get acquainted, get enough practice for writing this exam. On the other side, the teachers also, for the first time, they are facing this type of case study. Case study as such is very much a part of the methodology in the management schools. I still remember about 20 years ago when I was in with IIM Ahmedabad undergoing a 15 days residential program on strategic leadership. The entire lecture was, or the interaction was on the case study. And it was a very, very, it requires a lot of discussions, lot of practice. And that is why we took this particular topic, and going by the number of people who have registered, it seems that this is a concern and anxiety among many teachers and schools. Now, after having seen this number of participants going above 1,000, uh, addressing around all these participants at a time together, maybe it will give a kind of a rough framework of the entire case study process. But I request the participants to mute their mic. And this webinar is not meant for children. Children should not be there with us, because this is not meant for children. It is meant for principals, teachers, management, and it's not meant for children. If there are, it is mainly meant for teachers, because we would be telling them how to handle this case study, how to make a multiple choice question, and how to help the students attempt this MCQ questions based on the case study. So it is not meant for small children here. I found some voices asking when it will start and all. So please keep away the children. It is a very serious discussion, and I would like everyone to be a part of it. And I would very much appreciate if you can interact as we proceed. So this case study is something new. It requires a lot of hard work. It requires a lot of deliberation, discussion, assignments on the part of the teacher. And above all, it requires a normal class to handle this and make the children understand. On an online class, to explain and give them the required practice for a case study would be quite challenging. But at the same time, we would try to see how best we could present some of those experts that we have. They would share their practices and how much we could help you in orienting on this. In addition to this, I also plan that since there is so many participants are there, I'm now trying to group the participants in different zones. For example, I have a maximum number of participants from Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Orissa, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, and even participants from Jammu and Kashmir and all across the country. So I would like, with your permission, I would now like to make them into a group, like Tamil Nadu teachers and principals in one group as a community of learners, people from Orissa and Andhra Pradesh, Telangana as a one group, as a community of learners, and we would address them separately rather than having all of them 1,000+ at one place. It's quite ineffective, but we were not prepared for it. But at the same time, we will see how we could follow up, and we will communicate to you in that respect how we would like to meet in small groups, because that will be very effective, because I would prefer to conduct it in a form of a workshop, so that the teachers get a hand-on experience in designing step by step how to select the case study problem, how to design the multiple choice question, and how to help the students. What would be the tips and guidelines for the students to attempt these questions? So before I go ahead, and I would also like to share a screen with you so that I can run through this the concept of case study and the design of multiple choice question. With regard to subject specific, we have an expert, uh, Mr. Yudhishthir Devta, the principal director of SBD International School, and we have a very experienced physics teacher from Delhi, Mrs. Priyanka about which I would be, Miss Kushbu would be giving the introduction. So subject specific will be handled, and before that, for 10 minutes, I will run through a kind of a presentation to give you an idea about just a minute, give me some time to share my, I hope you can see my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
It's
sir.
visible. Visible, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So I will quickly run through, because I would like to come back to you on how to do this very specifically at micro level. Before that, we'll just run through something so that you have a fair idea of what is case study, and when the subject experts come in, you will be able to connect it with them. So, first of all, may I ask, and I know it's a very big group, what do you understand by case study? Anyone?
I think you're given a situation and the students are expected to analyze the situation and answer accordingly.
Could you please tell your name and the school and place you are coming from?
Sir, I'm Sharmila Klaso, a physics teacher at Mangalore, Karnataka.
Very good. Welcome. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Would I, with your permission?
Yeah.
Case studies involves a particular scenario, as ma'am has mentioned. More than that, we teach our students SWOT analysis, where the children will find out what are the strengths, the weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, so that they can do an in-depth analysis of the situation.
Okay.
Sir, may I?
Yeah, yeah,
Sir, I'm Pavan Dubey from Bhopal. I'm working with International Public School. Sir, according to me, I feel a case study is whatever you have taught in the class, and now you are going to ask children to just incorporate with the real life situation. This is all about case study.
Good evening, sir. This is Shanti from PSBB LLA, Bangalore. So this is analyzing the situation.
Okay.
Analyzing any situation which is given to us. So step by step, how do we analyze it?
Okay, I think going by just a 3 to 4 answers, what we could gather, it is a case study, is a kind of uh, a kind of a case. A case means kind of an event or kind of an activity or a kind of a problem put in a very in-depth, or it could be an extended example that is used to illustrate a particular argument. Anyway, I share one definition here. A case study is like an in-depth extended example that is used to illustrate a particular argument, and uh, the method is therefore very learning tool for the teacher and learning tool for the students as well, in which the students and instructor, that is the teachers, participate in a direct discussion of case studies. So here, in fact, we need a normal class. So it's quite challenging that we are going to handle it on an online platform. So I don't know in what context CBSE thought of introducing at this late stage, but it's a challenge and we need to work hard, and probably we could overcome that in the interest of the students, because this batch of students are very unfortunate because they never had a normal classes and they had the examination online, and now they are going to have everything offline when it comes to CBSE exam, when it comes to attempting this new pattern of questions, and it also comes in the matter of particularly 12th class to go through the practical exam. So all these are quite challenging and a lot of anxiety is there in the air. Students will teach themselves. Actually, if the case study or event or activity or anything that they do, they also teach themselves. That's the beauty of this exercise. It's generally done in a management institutions, where most of the cases, the other day I also heard when I wanted to study about case study in Harvard Business School, they handle all their lectures in the form of a case study where all the participants are involved in the interaction in giving their inputs. So it's rather than just talking ahead and delivering the content. It is not like a lecture method there we can deliver a content. The focus is on the students learning through their joint and cooperative efforts. And a case analysis helps the students to acquire two skills. Number one is the applying the theory. If it is about, say, the rainbow, which I think a model question is there in the CBSE, applying the theory of to real situation, how does the rainbow formation happens and the concepts which are involved in it, like refraction or reflection or whatever is there, that has to be generated to find a solution to that problem. So it's a very interesting and research based kind of approach. Case studies therefore prove valuable in a course of the following reason. First, it provides the students with experience of organizational problem, any organizational problem, and then it gives which probably they did not have the opportunity to experience firsthand. Second, it illustrates what you have learned. If they have learned on the chapter on light, we have a case on light, and they have to, it's an in-depth presentation or an event on the basis of light, and they have to answer the multiple choice question, which again we have to discuss little bit in length. So third, case studies provide you with opportunity to participate in class. That's a greatest feature of this case study: to participate in the class and to gain experience in presenting your ideas to the others. So, in fact, if you see very closely, this case study is meant for normal classes. But to have it on the online, this is where we, the TD Educational and Charitable Trust, is trying to reach out to all the teachers to see what we could facilitate. We are not going to give everything, facilitate with experts, and in the community of learners which I propose to form, I think we all will interact in a small group, and we would all know each other in terms of email, and we will be interacting and learning and designing multiple questions based on the understanding that we will reach. So we can define a case study as a method for developing a complete understanding of a process. It can be a process, it can be a program, it can be an event, or it can be an activity. So it can be an event and activity, as I said, defining the questions and hypothesis of a subsequent study, presenting a description and of all that. I will go run through a little because I would like the experts to come on the board. Case studies are generally categorized in three ways: exploratory, descriptive, or explanatory. Some child is there. I welcome him as a child because I have not seen children for a long time. But at the same time, let us make sure we don't disturb the proceedings. An exploratory case study is aimed at defining the questions and hypotheses of a subsequent study. A descriptive case study, something which is describes or illustrates a case study, is a complete description even within its context. And lastly, an explanatory case study focuses on establishing the cause and effect relationship, explaining which causes produced which effects. This is also a very interesting. So this is something I want. Multiple choice question is something which comes out of this case study. This is uh, the assessment part of the case. The multiple choice question is composed of two parts. One is the STEM that identifies the question or a problem, and a set of alternatives or possible answers. That's what we all know very well, that it contains a key that is best answer to the question. I'm using the word best answer because there can be semblance of correct answers, but you have to choose the best answer. And there will be a number of distractors. Distractors are something which make the children believe that this could be a possible answer, but it may not be. So we have to identify. So this is a very challenging for these children who have never had this kind of a practice over the years in class 8, 9, and all that. And all of a sudden they are going to have this. So you all know about multiple choice questions, so I will not go much in detail. What I would come is the general strategies that are used in the multiple choice questions. The most important thing that we must remember with regard to multiple choice question is that the multiple choice questions exam are challenging and time consuming. So we need to have time management. Children should learn time management, time consuming to create. You will find it easier if you write a few questions each week, all of you as teachers. If you start designing some questions each week, perhaps after a lecture, when the course material is still fresh in your mind. So I think every teacher should allot some kind of, unless you do, you will not be able to explain to the students. Unless you have a hand-on experience of how to identify a case study, how to design the multiple choice question, and go into the steps to design this question. So instruct students to select the best answer rather than the correct answer.
Hello.
By doing this, you acknowledge the fact that the distractors may have an element of truth to them. So you always help them to find the best answer. How to do it? We will come slowly down the line. Use a very familiar language. If the question should be the same terminology and flow of language, like the stem. So if you don't change the language part, otherwise the students are likely to dismiss the distractors with very unfamiliar terms. Avoid giving very verbal association clues from the stem in the key. The key uses words that are very similar to the words found in the stem. So avoid trick questions. Questions should be designed so that the students who know the material can find the correct answer. Questions designed to lead students in an incorrect answer through misleading phrasing or emphasizing on otherwise unimportant details of the solution violate this principle. That means you should not make it very tricky. And I think CBSE model questions are quite straightforward. Write questions through the term. Multiple choice question exams are challenging and time consuming. I think this has got repeated. Avoid giving verbal, it got repeated. Now we come to the designing the stems. There is one boy who's enjoying scribbling.
Sir,
He's not in class. So I think he get a classroom-like situation. So
Please
Excuse me, sir.
disable the annotation, sir.
Yes, sir.
yeah,
All the
okay.
hosts, if
Designing the stems. Express the full problem in a stem. That is the stem where the case is represented. When creating the item, ask yourself if the students would be able to answer the question without looking at the options. Means the stem should have such no ambiguity in terms of its presentation, and it's something should be an extract from the textbook, because even NCERT textbook, particularly I have seen economics, where a lot of stories are told, and then then you elicit response from the. So already a case method of is there in NCERT, and in physics book I have seen in class 12 points to ponder at the end of the lesson. The synopsis of the lessons are given. Even on that also, to some extent, you can create multiple choice questions, and put all relevant material in the stem. All material, if it is regarding rainbow, all that relevant material to explain the concept of the formation of the rainbow, all those should be there in the stem. You should not expect that you should bring it from outside or from their study study from the other part of the textbooks. Eliminate excessive wordings, too many wordings, relevant information from the stem. So irrelevant information stems confuses the students and leads them to waste of time. So it should be very concise and to the point. Hit the nail on its head in terms of the event or the activity or the problem. Most of the STEM is not necessary to answer questions. A better question would be, this is something I would skip. Designing the alternatives. What is alternatives? Limit the number of alternatives. Use between 3 to 5 alternates per question. Research shows that 3 choice items are above as effective as 4 or 5. But I think in CBSE we have 4, and mainly because it is, these are alternatives. Make sure there is only one best answer. You should be sure that there is a best answer. Avoid having 2 or more options. And then make these distractors appealing and plausible. It should be very appealing and plausible. In terms of, if the distractors are far-fetched, students will too easily locate the correct answer. Means the answers, there should be a close semblance of the same answer, where they need to guess which could be the right answer. So if it is far-fetched, if the distractors are far-fetched, they can easily locate the correct answer. Then the very purpose of multiple choice question on the STEM gets defeated. So I'll go to this one. I'll just go because I want to make choices grammatically consistent with the stem. Read the stem, each of the choices aloud to make sure they are grammatically correct. Place the choices in a meaningful way. For example, here it is giving when possible places choices are numerical or chronological or conceptual order. A better structured question is during what period was James Downey the president of Waterloo? You see, the order is given in a kind of a chronological order 1990, then 1991, then 1992, 1903. If you mix up all these things, you are jumbling up the mind of the child. So it should have some kind of a flow. Randomly distributed the correct response. Randomly distribute the correct. The exam should have roughly the same number of correct answers that are A, B, or C, or D's, and all that. Avoid using all of the above. I mean, this is unfortunately a step to design a multiple choice question, but I think in CBSE they are giving this type of questions, all of the above. If all of the above is an option, the students know two of the options are correct. If they can know that two are correct, then the answer must be all of the above. If they know one is incorrect, the answer must not be all of the above. So these are some techniques by which you will be able to explain to the students. A student may also read first option, uh, determine that is it is correct, and be misled into choosing it without reading. Uh, the next is avoid using none of the above. This is also not a correct approach. Negative approach is not the correct one in multiple choice question, especially based on a case study. The option none of the above does not test whether the student knows the correct answer. That is why it should not be used. Because when a child says none of the above, he doesn't know what is the correct answer, but only what he knows that the distractors aren't correct. So he's not able to identify the correct answer. So refrain from using words such as always, never, all, or none. Most students know that I will be passing on this PPT to all of you so that you can go through it. It's a self-explanatory because the main purpose of we sharing it so that see how we could support you and mentor you. So there is nothing that prevents us from sharing this. We will share all these things with you, especially all those who have with us and registered, uh, so that you can go through that, avoid and also share it with your teachers and the students as well. Make the alternatives mutually exclusive. It should be never be the case that if one of the distracted is true, another distractor must be true as well. So all these are little avoid questions of the form which of the following statement is correct. There is no clear question being asked and the choices are often heterogeneous. Such questions are better presented in the form of true and false. So let us not copy the true and false. Let us not copy the true and false pattern of questions for a case study, multiple choice questions. Now, guidelines for attempting the MCQ. See, they have to read the questions very carefully because once they are very thorough with the questions, probably uh, they would get the sense of achievement. Analyze the stems passage, mark the questions points. Easier questions should be attempted first to boost the confidence because once they attempt all the easier ones, that enhances their self-esteem and confidence. Read all the options carefully with equal importance, not that, oh, they have found the correct answer, let us skip the uh, other parts. They should not feel like that. They should read all the detractors as well as the variables that are available, the alternates that are available, and then choose the most appropriate action. Compare the options well and arrive to most appropriate choice. Use process of elimination to reach. I think this all you might be teaching your students. The question with options, all of the above, should be looked for at least 2 correct options, which I have already discussed. So,
Excuse me, sir.
yes, yes.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. Sir, is the child supposed to solve the question in rough or fair for MCQs?
See, if it is a mathematics, okay,
Hmm?
where he has to have 4 alternatives are there, and then certain formulas are have to be applied and to arrive at that particular answer to get a semblance of which is the answer that could be correct. I think our mathematics teacher is coming here along after me. Probably he can throw light on that to see whether they have to work it out somewhere in the rough to correct,
Yes, sir.
to identify. To my mind, I think to some calculation is required.
Sir,
Yeah,
it has to be shown in fair, because if the child is solving in fair, it has to be done
I don't.
properly.
I think it is not because the question pattern is says they generally have to tick. There is
Okay.
no other instructions or thing given there. So
Okay.
multiple choice question does not require any kind of a steps or to know that the child has calculated and not copied or guesswork. All that is indication is not there. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So this to start with the questions, you can answer easily, which I said, cover the answers and try to answer the questions before looking at them. Lightly cross out the answers you know are wrong. That is the question of elimination. Underline keywords in the question, read all the alternatives, watch the keywords like totally, absolutely, all, never, etc. Translate double negative statement into a positive one. See, I would prefer to come back to you in a smaller group so that we all work together. And this is what I did in our school. We had a very marathon session on this. And first, we deliberated on all this what is case study and what are the various features of case study. And then we discussed in length the step by step how to design a multiple and what are those points that we should remember and keep in mind. As I went through these slides, I told you all that. We should be very thorough with the basic grounding of a case study and the multiple choice question. And then I will be telling you again, you need to involve the students in how to approach a case study. There are two situations. One is class discussion. It's very important. All the children will have to participate. Assignments will have to be given, and now because it is quite late, quite a rigorous and repeated assignments to be given till students are confident. And exams you must conduct where predominantly this question should feature. uh, these two situations will be dealt separately since they require different approaches. Examination is separate, assignment is different. But if you discuss, if you just log into any of the YouTube on business, Harvard Business School case study methods, you see they only keep on talking with the students. The lecturer hardly explains anything. Okay, everything is elicited from the students. That is the beauty, and that is where the students teach themselves to a great extent. It internalizes the process of knowledge and the concept so effectively. I think they would remember it for life. So it's a methodology. The word itself says case and study. It is not a methodology, it's not a lecture, it is not explanation. It is a particular event, activity, or a problem which has certain uncertainties, and a kind of a decision has to be made. That is how the case study in managerial studies are done, in management studies. They will arrive at a specific decision after studying the case. So case sometimes can be made a hypothetical also to a certain extent to know how we could arrive at the correct answer. So case study process during the exam, regardless of the question format, there are three processes are involved. What are those processes? Identification of the issues and problems, and solutions, and what is the recommendation, which ultimately depends on what is the choice of questions that you would like to take. So I just went one thing. I wanted to finish it by 4:30. It has overslipped. Now I would request. I will come back towards the end during the informal discussion we will have during the question answer session, because that is the time when a lot of learning will happen, when you ask questions, because many of you already know many of these things, but you would be asking certain specific questions, which would be a kind of a learning experience for other listeners. So I will come back to you towards the end. Now I request Kushbu to welcome Mr. Devta, the Principal and Director of SBD International Bhadrak, Orissa. He has very long years of experience as a mathematics with a proven track record of Cbse results. So more so, I leave it to Kushbu to introduce Mr. Devta.
Thank you so much, sir. And I'm very sure that our
Thank you, sir.
audience is now mentally prepared for today's session, and your tips and guidance was very helpful. Just a few ground rules before we move on to the eminent speakers of the evening. Please do not scribble on the PPTs that they share. Unfortunately, we would be forced to remove you from the meeting. Also, participants are requested to keep their mics muted so that there is no disturbance. If you have any questions, you may post that in the chat box and we'll take it up in the end at the time of the question answer round. Now, moving.
Before Kushbu, just sorry for the intervention, just
Yes.
not afterthought. To all the participants, I would be prefer to meet in a smaller group, which I would be informing you if you're convenient. We can meet late in the evening because in the daytime you have your work. Because we cannot wait for every Saturday, because we have to reach the students with a proper grounding as soon as possible and give them extensive practice. So to do that, say Tamil Nadu teachers and principals in one group, like this, we will work out something and come in a smaller group, like a workshop. And let us, each one of us, the way our teachers did in my school, they all designed their own original questions. Now, there is a dearth for question bank on case study. Of course, the publishers will roll out some question banks very soon, very hurriedly, and anything which is done in a hurriedly, quality is the casualty. So we could bring out our own questions, original questions by workshops, and every teacher, if you can design 2 to 3 questions and share in this workshop, and if you can share with us, we will collect all these questions and share with the entire group, so that every school which is participating in TD educational consultant and charity presentations, everyone will have a question bank, original, made by the teachers and not from any publishers. And we can use it to give exercises, examinations. Probably the CBSE examination is going to be postponed. In that case, we'll get more time. And during this time, I think original questions, and that meantime, some more questions also will come from the publishers. So let us all work together in a collaboration. In the 21st century is an era of collaboration. And I think all the schools will benefit if we all collaborate, work together in small groups, in workshop, design questions, or also try to understand what case study is there in more depth. And probably this we will work out. We will be inviting you in small groups. Yes.
Sir,
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
sir, excuse me, sir.
Actually, sir, we have not registered. I have not registered. Actually, I have just joined with the meeting link. So, if can I also be joined with this groups which you are
See, I
creating?
need your email ID because I have to communicate to you.
Sir, the chat is disabled. So,
And if you have any friends who know who are part of it, they can share it. Because invitation will go to only those whose I have the phone number and email ID.
but I could not share my email ID because this chat is disabled. If it is
No, what you
enabled, I
do
could
is,
share.
even now, I think I don't know how to. You have that invitation of mine?
That invitation
In that,
PDF only.
there, register. Even now you
Register.
can register.
Register, it is clicking is not possible. It's a PDF we got.
Khushbu, can you put it something on the chat box so that people can...
Sure.
Not
The other option can be you can just send your email ID to Thangadurai sir's phone number only.
Yeah, but they should know my phone number also. Khushbu, can you please
Yes, sir.
intervene on this communication channel?
Dr. Thangadurai?
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Thangadurai?
Yeah.
Good evening.
Prem Kumar, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you. That's no nice of you. I saw your picture, could not make out because I think we meet after a very long time.
Yes.
And, so very nice of you. Are you speaking from Middle East?
Yeah, I am from Middle East and now I'm in Kuwait.
Kuwait, okay.
I just want to let you know that I have done some preparation of this question banks and questions. And there is something other than the case-based study and the MCQ, there's something called assertion and reasoning questions. The students are finding it very hard.
I think our teachers will touch upon that. Yes.
Yes. So that also need to be, discussed with these teachers.
I did not go by subject specific. I went on a general thing. And
yeah, but this is there in all science subjects. It is there now, assertion and reasoning. It is there in all of them, in fact.
Only in science, 10th standard science.
No, 12th. I'm talking about class 12 also.
12th also.
Yeah.
Till 12th.
So we could.
Now that you told me we would come into that, I'm creating a community of learners. Why can't we join?
Yes, I'm there. I've registered with you.
Help all the teachers because it's basically a philanthropic approach that we are connecting with teachers. So
yes,
it will be interesting and nice. I think Prem Kumar, you have registered probably. I may be having your mail ID and all.
Of course.
I will get back to you.
Sure. Thank you.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Is it mandatory when we give the case-based study, we give them a paragraph, whether it is 10th standard or 12th standard? Is it mandatory to mention the content from where we have taken, whether the website address or the book or the reference material? Is it mandatory to mention it in the question paper, sir?
Yes.
Is it necessary, Mr.
Yes.
Kumar?
Yes, wherever there's copyright is there, if you're taken from copyright, you must.
If you're taking from NCERT books, is it necessary?
No, NCERT book not necessary.
Any other textbook also, should we mention the name of the textbook below the...
No. Copyright, copyright from the website.
Then you will be promoting some private publishers. NCERT is okay. And if some other where you are taking your source, it's always good to mention. That's a courtesy.
You're audible now, ma'am. You may continue.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yep. So I would just begin screen sharing with you all. And Durai sir has already explained a lot of content, which I was also planning to showcase here. So, yep, let us see. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, yep, the question had started from what is meant by case-based questions. Now, there are two terms very frequently being used. One is case-based and one is case study-based. So, though there is a very thin line of difference between the two terms, but if you see question papers from science, you will mostly find the term case-based is used. And in commerce, you will see case study-based questions is a very frequent term being used. And I myself did a lot of research, analyzed a lot. I was thinking a lot that why Cbse very specifically is using these two different terms. With the help of many of my friends, I realized though there is a very thin line of difference between the two terms, but there is this concept of hypothetical briefing in a paragraph, okay, which can be assumed as case study, Whereas in case-based, mostly you will find some concrete statements or facts or laws, and hence the term is very frequently used in the science papers. Well, so case study can have different contextual meanings. It can have very different meanings. As sir has said that in MBA, a lot of case study based projects they used to do. So can have very different meanings in different contexts. Particularly in the field of science, it is defined as a research strategy and empirical. Yes. Okay. An empirical inquiry that investigates a phenomenon within its real life context. And hence you will find the questions which are very well stating this meaning. What is it again? It is a new approach to learning. It will not be completely correct to say that this is new approach to learning, because we have been already having group discussion in the class based on any concept, and that discussion basically gets converted to a question. As sir has said that we have to involve students in groups to think and ponder on a concept, and the same begins in the question paper as a question, and it becomes a case based or case study based question. It works on the principles of grasps. Now what is grasps? Goal, role, audience, situation, product, standards to measure the assessment. So any assessment which includes all these points, basically an actual experiential learning becomes a case study based question. Also, it very well works on the situation and concepts. Like one of the participant had actually answered when sir had asked, what do you mean by case study? So ma'am had said that any situation given in a real life, and the students have to think upon it, come to the concept and do the solutions. So yes, exactly, that is. Okay, so that is actually a case study based question. Now it has changed from STEM to STEAM, which means science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Now CBSE is also planning to include this term arts, and you will see that a lot of art integrated workshops CBSE is conducting and giving students art integrated projects. Okay, now this is an article which was published when this new pattern was to be included. It says, having slashed the syllabus by 30%, the Central Board of Secondary Education has decided to tweak the question paper pattern for class 12 by giving more weightage to multiple choice questions and questions based on case studies for students who will be writing the exam in 2021. According to the Times of India, the sample question papers released by the board shows that the weightage of MCQs have increased by nearly 10%. While half of the question paper for English will have MCQs, subjects like physics and maths. Ma'am, may I please request you to put annotations off?
Madam, excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Just to interrupt you, ma'am. Regarding 12th biology,
yes,
this year there is no MCQ questions. Previously, there was 5 MCQ questions, but this current 2021 model questions, as it has been in the website, Cbse website, there is no MCQ questions.
Okay, sir. Point very well taken, sir. Thank you. But yes, I would specifically be touching on physics portion, and rest of the parts. Hopefully, other speakers would be able to answer. My expertise is physics, and I will touch upon that. Hopefully, I'll do my part well. Okay. So yes, physics and maths will have more case study based questions.
Ma'am, can I ask a question, ma'am?
Yes, sir, please.
Ma'am, from STEM, we have changed to STEAM. That is what you said.
Yes.
What about commerce, ma'am? Is accountancy and business studies, these type of subjects are coming into this?
Okay, again, a very good question, sir. Yes, you must be asking your students by now to make projects, art integrated projects in all of the subjects. CBSE
Yeah,
has
art
made it
integrated projects. Yes,
compulsory.
ma'am.
Yes. So, and they are very well the part of internal assessment. So the term STEAM, it is scientific approach or a logical solution to a problem. So it doesn't mean that actually a student has to go to the laboratory and physically do some problem solving thing. This concept is introduced in each and every subject. I hope I have answered to your question, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, once
Excuse
again,
me,
I
ma'am.
request, yes.
So, being a commerce teacher, even I want to add upon something.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
from Panchkula,
Yes,
10
ma'am.
soldiers.
Yes.
Actually, art integrated in commerce is one parameter you have already covered, the project file. And even what I feel that depends on teacher, how creative they can be to bring up the art into the subject. Like what I did, my students, they come up with the poems as well as snake and ladder in accountancy.
Very nice, ma'am. Very nice.
So
And
that
yes,
depends
indeed.
on us. Along with the student, how can even students are more creative than us.
Very, very truly said, ma'am. And we, a few days back in my school also, we were discussing the same through a webinar. And I have attended many CBSE workshops on this topic. And yes, CBSE has highlighted this point that teachers are supposed to be a guide. And there are more than 18 parameters of the art, different art forms. Be it, one of my student was saying, I would like to sing a hip hop song, ma'am. So I said, okay, just integrate physics with hip hop and do something creative. So the trends in arts are also changing. It can be any form of music, it can be any form of dance, culinary art. They would like to cook something, they would like to draw something. So it is on them. And as teachers, we are supposed to motivate them, guide them, so that they can bring out the best out of them. And as guide, that is the happiness we'll get. And of course, they'll get the marks in the end. Okay. So, but why CBSE has done it? Specifically coming back to the topic, case study based questions, why CBSE has done it. So I'll just read this article furthermore. Shift towards NEP, and we all know it is National Education Policy, which CBSE is trying to incorporate. But yes, as Sir had said, that I personally think the same, that it is very late, like it is now month of December. And this year, a lot of ups and downs has happened in the field of education. But anyways, we teachers are able to do everything. So in case study based questions, students will be expected to answer questions after reading through a given paragraph or a passage. But unlike unseen passage, which happens particularly in certain subjects, according to the Indian Express, Dr. Joseph Emmanuel, the director of academics at CBSE, this format will shift the attention from rote learning and will test students on their comprehension, interpretation, and writing abilities. The questions, which previously carried one mark each, can now be converted into short or long type questions as well. The purpose of this shift, said Dr. Emmanuel, is to move to a competency based and skill oriented teaching and learning. Now, this point is very important to note. The purpose of these type of questions is, number one, say you had 1 mark question, but now the same question is 4 mark. You have total 8 mark case study based question. So at the same time, it is an MCQ also, and it is a long answer type question also. You're getting more marks. So this basically includes both short and long type questions, and it generates competency based and skill based teaching learning process or atmosphere in the class, and which is the foundation of national education policy, as said by Dr. Emmanuel, who is the director of academics at CBSE. Now let us see the current sample paper specific to the subject physics of class 12th. What all general instructions are given in the paper as are mentioned here. So there are total 5 sections. out of which section B has 2 case-based questions, 4 marks each. So one section has 2 questions. They are 4 marks, though they are given with 5 options in each question. Now this question, if you see, it is Faraday cage. Okay. Now, if you see the NCERT class 12th, you will not find this term Faraday cage anywhere. It is nowhere written. But the underlying principle, now any physics teacher who can tell me what is the underlying principle?
Electrostatic shielding.
Electrostatic shielding. Now this term comes in chapter 1 and chapter 2 both, which are the part of the unit electrostatics. This electrostatic shielding we have already been doing in the class so many times, and various questions we are giving to the students. Only the real application is not mentioned in the NCERT. But there are so many other things as real life examples which are present and a child sees around. Okay, for example, the electroscope. Children usually they make this project electroscope, right? If I talk about the Xerox machine, it works on a very fundamental principle, the charge induction of a charge, right? Now, all these are the real life examples of very simple concepts or fundamental concepts. Now, for sure, one question will be, such question where this practical application will be coming. Okay. Now, a child can withdraw the meaning that from reading the paragraph that the principle is electrostatic shielding. Now, ask any question on electrostatic shielding, the child will be able to answer. Even if the paragraph is insufficient for the questions. Now, if I see all these questions here, there are 5 questions. You will see that these questions are basically categorized into 3: application, knowledge, and comprehension. As mentioned in that article, okay, you will see mainly these 3 categories: application, knowledge, and comprehension. May I please request to this little kid, if there is a child who's doing all these annotations over here, I'll share this white screen later in the end. You can do the scribbling there. I'll give you 2 minutes to do the scribbling, okay? So the first question, if you see, is...
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes,
You
please.
can change the setting and off the annotation so that no one can do it.
Yes, I have requested.
We will do it, and she won't be able to do it. We'll do it. And
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. So, yeah, may I continue? So this first question is, now which material would be required to form a Faraday's cage? Now we know the principle, it's electrostatic shielding. So
it has to be copper.
Yeah, it has to be copper. So it becomes so simple if once you understand the concept. Now, example of a real world Faraday cage is car, plastic box, lightning rod, and metal rod. So of course, and see, just understand the concept and you can pick out the answer instantly, right? Then what is the electrical force inside a Faraday's cage when it is struck by lightning? Now, again, because we know about electrostatic shielding, that inside electric field is 0, right?
0.
Correct. And we write the force, electrostatic force, as charge product electric field, right? Q times E. Like those who are in physics, they must know this.
QE,
that the force, QE. So E is 0. Now what should be the force? So
0.
Yes. Exactly. Now you see all the questions, it feels like, for a student of class 12th physics, it feels like it's basically learning like an alphabet. The words formed from alphabet, if once the child knows the alphabets, right? So principle you understand, and case study based questions are not difficult at all, neither to create them nor to solve them. Okay, I'll move further now. Similarly, this second question, if you see, now this question is based on the fundamental
Total internal reflection.
Total internal reflection, right? Now, because it is based on total internal reflection, so even you read this paragraph, okay, or you don't read this paragraph, I am 100% sure that all the questions can be very easily answered by the students. I will particularly go to this question. See, the critical angle for a diamond is 24.4 degrees, then its refractive index is, now this is so
Highest.
simple.
2.42.
Since class 10, 2.42. Very good. I'm very happy that all these teachers are responding so well. This is becoming very interactive. Thank you so much. Okay, so the thing is, a child learns about the refractive index in class 10th, and there he reads that the highest refractive index the diamond has. Okay, and this is the answer directly given, and other values are nowhere close. It's 0.4, 1.41. It's nowhere close also. So it's like if you read it, the questions become simple, whether they are on application or not, knowledge based or not, or comprehension based or not. So if this is the way we are going to teach our students, that see, these options are divided into knowledge based, application based, and comprehension based. Okay. So knowledge based, you just have to know the concept and you have to choose the answer directly because it is direct implication of the question. Now, talking about application based, from that concept, all the related formulas you teach, for example, we have learned about F will be 0, the force will be 0 as electric field is 0. Now, this is a derivation which is coming from the formula. So from the concept, child must know all the formula. Talking about comprehension, now comprehension is the fundamental understanding of the question. As sir had said, that there are certain distractors. Children get distracted by those distractors. Some options are very close, but they are not the correct options. For that, practice is needed. And for practice, we need a lot of resource of case study based questions, which is not available. CBSE has given us a task, basically all the educators, the teachers, to create your own bank. One way to do it is, like all of us are sitting in this webinar, understanding certain things. Now we can go back and create our question banks and share with each other, which I'll be doing. And second thing is how to break down to make simpler questions from each and every concept. So my last portion of discussion would be that. Okay, so this is more about the same question. Here you will also find that there are these elements are also there, a situation based on a concept, and then you come to understanding. Which question I'm particularly talking about is this. A diamond is immersed in a liquid with a refractive index greater than water. Now this is a situation. Okay, what happens if diamond becomes rarer to some medium? Then the critical angle for total internal reflection will. Now these options are distractors also. It feels, yes. So this question, yes ma'am, again. Sorry, hello.
Diamond has.
Okay, yes, diamond has the highest, but it is a situation, hypothetical situation is given that say diamond is put into some medium which has more refractive index than diamond. So a child should be able to think in that direction also.
Ma'am, it's more than water, I think, not than diamond.
Yeah, it's more than water, but not because.
Oh, okay, yes, okay, I accept. Sorry, then I misread it. Yeah, diamond is immersed in a liquid with a refractive index. Yeah, greater than water. Sorry, apologies. Greater than water. Okay, and I couldn't hear you also. There was some connectivity problem. So then the critical angle for total internal reflection will. Now these four options are there. Well, anyways, so how will the student deduce the answer? Now, I would like any of the physics teacher to unmute yourself and not give the answer, but give the method to come to the answer. Anybody who can deduce, use the deductive approach to come to the answer, not the answer exactly. What principle will you apply here?
Mu is equal to 1 over sine C.
Okay, mu is equals to 1 upon sine IC. And
First need to see what is the relation between refractive index and critical angle. Are they related in any way?
Okay, and that ma'am has given that refractive index is related by the relation 1 upon sine IC. Now, simple, exactly, you're very right about this. You know that if you have, say, air, okay, and for air, you write mu is equals to 1 upon sine IC, where IC is the critical angle between diamond and air interface, right? Now, say diamond is immersed in water. I am using two different mediums. It can be air, water, it can be water, some other liquid, it can be some other liquid, again some other liquid. Basically, we have diamond and something else. Okay. So that something else is having the refractive index mu is equals to 1 upon sine IC. IC is the critical angle of incidence inside the diamond. Okay. Now this mu, say you have medium 1 and medium 2. So for medium 2 and medium 1, you just have to find the ratio. Mu1 by
Yeah,
mu2.
mu1 is equal to mu2 by mu1.
Yes. So now only this portion, there is a situation given, but again, we went back to the concept. The concept was mu is equals to 1 upon sine IC. And now you have two situations. You just found the ratio and you will be able to understand the answer exactly. So our target is not to teach the students how to just obtain the knowledge-based questions and come to their answers. Our target is to give them situations, to make them realize the concept and come to understanding. And this is what is case study once again. Now, okay, this is some set of examples. I gave some questions, case study based questions in my school to my students. We conduct some assessments every week, and in those assessments, I've given them some questions. Now, sir had said that in NCERT, if you find, so there are summarized points. Also, many a times we miss out on certain things. There are some blue boxes. In those blue boxes, many applications of the concepts are given. Those blue boxes are very suitable to form case study based questions like photocell. Now we know that photocell is a direct application of photoelectric effect, right? So once the child knows everything about photoelectric effect, the child will be able to understand the functioning of photocell. So there are many such blue boxes which are very suitable for us, the teachers, to discuss in the class. Though this is because this approach has changed. The Cbse previously used to say that these boxes are not in the syllabus, they're outside the syllabus or beyond the syllabus. But that again is in the context. So we need to discuss that also. Now this is about interference, and this paragraph is taken from one of the blue boxes only. So when you see an oil film on the road on a rainy day, or it can be any paragraph taken directly from the NCERT also. Okay, so this discussion is very important in the class regarding the phenomena and how that phenomena leads, like interference is one phenomena. Now, how this leads to various applications, and any application can become a case study based question. Because of the limited time frame, I will move on. This is another example wherein the work function, the threshold frequency, basically the photoelectric effect is discussed through an experiment, again given in the blue box, and hence student has to identify the suitable material for photoelectric effect and other what can be the work function maximum value. So these questions I had designed. I was just giving an example how we can obtain certain case study based questions directly from NCERT. And we'll come to this later again when I will be giving you this task at the end
Sorry.
to design your own. Yes. Yes. Hello.
Sorry, ma'am, I lost you for a minute. What is the blue boxes that you're referring to?
Okay, I'll show that blue box to you very just a second. I'll open up an NCERT book, okay, and I'll show how these blue boxes help us in making some case study based questions, okay?
Okay,
now
the ones in NCERT. Okay, thank
yes,
you, ma'am. Thank you. I got it.
yes. Now I have chosen some
Activity based questions are there.
yes, and they are activity based as well as direct applications of
In the blue
concept.
box,
I'm sorry again.
activities are there where we can get the question.
Okay, ma'am, are you talking about class 10th science? In class 10th science, the boxes have some activities. They can also be used as case studies. I was particularly referring to class 12th here.
Just one clarification. Can I interrupt you for a minute?
Yes, ma'am.
So to say Van de Graaff generator is not there. It is a part of the deleted portions.
Yes,
but we
ma'am.
can choose questions from the deleted portions as well and make it as a case-based study, right?
Exactly. You got this. CBSE is very smartly doing this, though in physics, I don't know. Um, if I hope nobody is here from CBSE, because if it is offensive, really sorry. But I really feel that somebody at the top notch is from science background who's experimenting a lot with physics.
Yes.
So yeah. So
In
yeah.
fact, we are using the deleted portions to give it as activities to our kids.
Yes, ma'am, and we'll have to do that because in
Because even
physics,
the deleted
ultimately,
portions
yeah,
will
if you
have
see this,
some continuity to the higher classes.
exactly,
We are giving
exactly.
them as activities to be done.
Yes, and we are also bound to somehow teach that. We can't refuse not
Exactly.
teaching them.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ma'am,
like for example, in class 9th, if I say, now this portion about thrust, pressure, Archimedes principle is deleted. But again, students have their subject enrichment activities, which are based on those unlearned topics. So ultimately, you'll have to teach them, whether in activities or in theory classes. Okay?
Ma'am, I just want to share my experience. All these deleted
Yes, yes.
portions, I gave it as seminar topics and children have done a wonderful job.
Yes.
Oh.
So we have covered that way. And we have, in case practical exams are not going to be there, that can be regarded as internal assessment marks, where only
Yes,
students'
ma'am.
effort
And
is there.
so we have to be smarter than CBSE.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just got these topics as examples like xerography, Venn diagram generator from electrostatics, electric fuses, potentiometer, and there can be multiple applications we actually teach in class during our theory classes. So all these applications become the case study based questions or case based questions. Okay. Now, class 10th, I'll come to class 10th now. So if I see the instruction, this specific instruction, which was supposed to mention about the case-based questions, it didn't say anything at all. But you go to the question paper and you find this. So in the instructions portion in sample paper, they have mentioned about MCQs, they have mentioned about assertion reason, but they didn't write anything specifically about case-based or case study-based questions. But here we have this case-based question. Now, this particular, and I hope you all have gone through sample papers, so not wasting much time over here. The same principles are applied here. Okay, the comprehension, understanding, situation, knowledge, and application. Okay, these five Buddha's palm we have to teach to the students. Okay, so they will come to the answers by themselves, knowing particularly the concept, applying the concept in a situation by understanding and comprehension. Okay, so this is the same question. I will skip the examples now. This was an example taken what I had designed for my students during the assessments. So I'm skipping all this portion because of the time reference. Now, the same examples I've taken here, like if you talk about the chapter light, we have some applications like rear view mirror in human eye. We have atmospheric refraction, we have scattering, we have electromagnetic induction, we have electromagnets. Okay. So all these are application fields and we can form a case study based question on any of these topics. Now, physics teachers, I ask you to pick any topic from this and let us try to make a case study or case based question instantly right now. Any suggestion here?
Electromagnets, MRI.
Okay, yes, very, very good, ma'am. MRI, electromagnets. Do you know MRI is nothing but a huge solenoid with huge number of turns. So you can just simply say that, in some situation, a person had migraine or um, um, some headache, constant headache. So the doctor suggested to go for an MRI and he pondered that what is this machine, what is it is made up of? And his father or somebody explained him the functioning of that machine, that it is an electromagnet, a current passes through this, and no, this is how it generates a magnetic field, a very strong magnetic field, and hence the neuron impulses can be seen, so instantly it comes out. You choose a topic and instantly you can make a situation and that becomes a case study. Now you need to put questions to it. So the number of questions you can put to a solenoid, the same number of questions can come here. And I'm sure that to a solenoid, at least 6 to 7 minimum questions so everyone can make MCQs, right?
Also,
Hydroelectric power station, thermal power station, based on that also we can have for
yes,
electromagnetic induction.
Yes, ma'am. And yes, that is why I just chose these 6 examples are nothing. You have n number of examples from your textbook or beyond the textbook. Case study is all about beyond the textbook. Also, I wanted to show you just a second, ma'am. Okay, I have this PDF downloaded. Can you see? I am reading this question. An elderly woman went alone to the registrar's office to disburse her property. When she inquired in the office, she was asked to get a Xerox copy of the document. Yeah. She inquired in the office. She was asked to get a Xerox copy of the document which works under electrostatic induction. The Xerox shop was far away and across the road. Okay. Now, if I see the questions, what values did the passerby have? Let us skip this question. Okay. But does this give you a situation? It does. Okay. You remember 2 years back, CBSE used to have these value-based questions. You may not find case study based question bank anywhere, but you will find value based question bank, lot of such questions, right? And I have downloaded some of the best questionnaire for myself, and I will share it with the host school so that it can be shared with all of you. Okay, now there are so many from different chapters, current electricity. Okay, it's a huge question bank. You just have to remove the values, the question, particularly question which asks about the characteristics or traits of the object or of the person in the paragraph. But otherwise, it is simply a case study based question. I hope my point I am able to make you understand. And now I would welcome any doubts if you have. But yes, before I welcome your doubts, this is my whiteboard. And as promised, I would request the host team to put off the annotation and you can scribble a lot. Specifically talking about biology, if I'm
Yes,
not wrong.
+2 biology.
Yes, ma'am. First, I would like to answer this question with respect to my subject, and then I'll come to your subject. I hope this will satisfy the question. In physics also, be it any subject, it's a science subject, application question would be there for sure. Now, what is an application? Application is basically when you have learned the concept and you are given some situation, you don't know about the situation, so you're whether you are able to relate that situation to that particular learned concept or not. Like in this case, just when I had shown this Faraday's cage, the sample paper. Now Faraday's cage is basically an enclosed metal body. Now we know that in an enclosed metal body, electrostatic shielding happens. Now that is the concept. So if the child is able to relate that concept, he will anywhere you give any application question, the child will be very easily be able to answer that. Okay. Now in biology also, hopefully the same thing would be happening. Like you have learned a concept in biology and from that some question has come out. I think that might be the case. Can you give me a concrete example right now? Currently, I have little knowledge of biology, but I would like to answer. Any concrete example of from sample paper like this question has come?
Like questions coming from particularly human DNA, biotechnology, all alternative questions are giving advanced things. A child cannot draw the conclusion when conclusion based questions are coming particularly. So that is extra knowledge from where they will be getting, and that is not at all mentioned in the paragraph even.
Yes, ma'am. This is for sure in NCERT. This is the entire meaning of case study based question. It is beyond NCERT. It is beyond the textbook. So if you think, initially, previously we used to say NCERT is Bible. Just learn it by heart. You pray it by heart like that. But now it is not the case. So say you are teaching heredity in the biology. Now when you are teaching heredity, the genes are being transformed. So because of the chromosomes, because of the DNA. So you have to actually tell in depth to the student, particularly from a concept, so that the child will be able to apply. It is not true everywhere. In certain the fundamental concepts of certain topics there. But biology, I will also request, sir, that like teachers have asked, some subject specific workshops if happen, that will be better, because like if I answer something in biology, I would not like to mislead the teacher, because I have not seen the questions. I have like constantly been teaching physics only. So uh, I don't know if I am able to satisfy your question, ma'am, but yes, certainly to the specific question, I think the subject matter expert would be able to very much answer that.
Yes, ma'am. Good suggestion. Yes. Hello, madam. Hello, I want to ask one small question to Priyanka, madam. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You are.
See, you told in the when you were explaining, you said that the deleted portions also we have to somehow explain to the students. So for
Yes.
class 10 CBSE, can we expect deleted questions in the board examination, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
really? Okay,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
thought that we don't have to teach that at all.
Yes, ma'am. I told you, not the chapter. The chapter which is entirely deleted, no activities coming from there. That is entirely deleted. But
Okay.
I have personally seen that there are activities from the deleted portion as mentioned in class 9th and 10th as well. So this is something I
Okay.
told you. Somebody at the top notch is from science doing a lot of
Yeah.
experiments with the science. Yeah, we'll have to deal
Mhm.
with that.
Okay. Thank you so much, madam. I had this doubt once more.
Ma'am, can I speak? Miss Priyanka?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I'm a physics teacher, so I had this doubt for art integrated activity.
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, I have not given it out yet to students because I was focused on completing
Yes, ma'am.
the portion till now. So, um, how many marks have you allotted, and how it, could you please help me on what kind of activity you gave them?
Yes, regarding the marks allotment, ma'am, there is this, there are some sections of internal assessments. I'll come to that later, ma'am. But yes, regarding the activities, it is a free will of the child. Whatever the child wants to do, the child can do. Whatever the
But
topic
ma'am,
he wants
class,
to choose, uh, I'll just explain this, ma'am, and then later I'll take the another question. Whatever the topic child wants to choose from the book, the child is free to choose. Also, art integration in some classes is in collaboration with states. Like I am currently staying at Alwar. Okay, so my school is situated in Alwar, and Rajasthan is collaborated with Assam. So I will
oh,
have to ask my students to integrate science, Assam, and its culture. And that will be the art integration. Now, in this
yeah.
context, say in class 9th, I will talk about class 9, there is this chapter, Why Do We Fall Ill? So, why do we fall
Yeah.
ill? Now, I had to tell students to make something related to Assam. I told them, you pick out the indigenous medicines names from Assam, like Assamese. Every state they have some their own indigenous herbs or medicines. You make, because this is corona time, so you make masks. You can make paper masks, you can make the cotton mask, and on those masks you can write the names of these medicines. Okay, so
Okay.
this way you will have to relate Assam with the art, and it is, I think, for some subjects it is a very difficult task also. Okay, but
Yeah.
this is in
Um,
collaboration with states.
Mrs.
You have to keep this in
Priyanka,
mind. Oh, sorry,
we
sir.
are getting very late, and
Yes.
today's webinar is on case study. We'll take up art integration separately because that would give the focus. You have done a wonderful
Okay.
job, and you have
Thank
got
you.
connected with the participants so nicely, and they are so eager to talk to you. Definitely, we'll get back to you have a very closer interaction.
Yes,
It
sir,
should
sure,
be
sir.
more
Thank you.
subject specific so that a biology question doesn't come to you.
Mhm.
We'll have a budget bio. So uh, I think we are almost coming to an end, and I would like to wind up because participants are also slowly leaving, and it's 6:10 now. 5:30 was my time. As somebody said, time management we should maintain. It's very difficult in a webinar, especially when we are dependent on technology, which is very inconsistent. In India, um, So one of our speaker could not come up because of that, because it's the places where he comes also is a little away from the main township. So these are certain technical glitches also we have. But definitely when we come to a smaller group for a shorter time, with a more specific subject, I am sure that will address many of your questions. So let me plan it out this because let me take it out on some time and plan, and I will come back to you all. Thank you very much. And Khushbu, could you have a word of thanks to all the participants and everyone? Particularly, we are very much encouraged by the kind of a response we have. But this made us understand that that is how this morning itself we thought, let us go for a small workshop in small groups, because having actually registration is more than 1,000, and I think it's also going live on YouTube, where we have quite a good number of participants, but only thing we are not able to interact with them. So we will come back to you, and definitely we will see the objective of supporting and mentoring teachers continues in a sustained manner and very effectively, so that you have a takeaway. And as I said, and as Priyanka also said, please prepare some questions, and probably when we come to you, your community of learners, and this particular week we want to call it as a learning carnival, so that we enjoy that part of and then we can take it to the students. Before we go take it to the students, you should be very thorough with the concepts, the way it is designed, the way it is to be attempted, the tips for attempting multiple choice questions, how to read between the lines to get the right answer. So all this we can discuss very specifically. Thank you all, and Khushbu, can we wind up, please?
Yeah,
And
sir.
then I
Thank you
will
so
close the
much.
meeting.